You set the alarm before everyone else wakes up. You show up. You put in the hours. You sacrifice the weekends, the late nights, the social events you skipped because you told yourself you had work to do. You are not lazy. Nobody who knows you would ever call you lazy. You are disciplined. You are consistent. You are doing everything you were told to do to build a good life. And yet, you look up one day and the progress isn't there. Or maybe there's a little progress, just enough to keep you going, but not enough to make you feel like any of it is actually working. You look at where you are and compare it to where you thought you would be by now, and there is a gap. A painful, confusing, demoralizing gap between the effort you are putting in and the results you are seeing. And the worst part is not the exhaustion. The worst part is the quiet voice in the back of your mind that whispers, maybe I'm just not meant for more than this. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe everyone else got a blueprint that I never received. And you keep going because stopping feels like failure, but continuing feels like running on a treadmill. Lots of movement, no real destination. And deep inside, underneath the discipline and the routine and the keeping it together, there is a frustration so deep it almost feels like grief. Like you are mourning a version of your life that should have happened by now but somehow hasn't. If that is you, if that is exactly where you are right now, then I need you to stay with me for the next few minutes. Because what I am about to share with you is not motivational noise. It is not another hustle culture pep talk telling you to just work harder. It is truth. And it might be the most important thing you hear this year. Because the problem is not your work ethic. The problem might be something much deeper than that. Something most people never stop long enough to examine. And until you see it clearly, no amount of effort is going to take you where you are trying to go. Let me start with something that is going to sound uncomfortable, but stay with me. There is a difference between being busy and being aligned. And most people have never been taught that difference. We live in a culture that worships busyness, that treats exhaustion as a badge of honor, that confuses motion with progress and activity with purpose. We celebrate the person who works 16-hour days not by asking what they are working toward but simply by admiring that they work that hard. And we internalize that. We start to believe that if we are not exhausted we are not doing enough. That rest is laziness. That slowing down is falling behind. But here is what nobody is telling you. You can work yourself to complete depletion in the wrong direction and end up further from your destination than when you started. A car with a full tank of gas driven confidently in the wrong direction does not get you closer to where you are going. It takes you further away. And the more committed you are to the wrong direction, the further you go from the right one. Working hard is necessary, but working hard without clarity, without alignment, without purpose, is one of the most exhausting and heartbreaking things a human being can do with their life. In the book of Haggai, there is a verse that stopped me cold the first time I really read it. God says to the people of Israel, "You have planted much but harvested little. You eat but never have enough. You drink but never have your fill. You put on clothes but are not warm. You earn wages only to put them in a purse with holes in it." Read that again slowly. They were working, they were planting, they were earning, and yet nothing was accumulating, nothing was satisfying. Everything they poured in seemed to pour right back out. And God's question to them was not, "Why aren't you working harder?" His question was, "Consider your ways. Think about what you are actually doing and why you are doing it." Because the problem was not their effort. The problem was that they had been so consumed with building their own houses that they had neglected the house of God. They had gotten the order wrong. And when the order is wrong, the effort doesn't produce what it should. That passage was written thousands of years ago, and it describes millions of people alive today with terrifying precision. Working hard, earning money, staying busy, and yet feeling like everything just slips through their fingers. Like nothing ever quite accumulates into the life they are working toward. Like something is fundamentally off but they can't identify what it is. Consider your ways. That phrase is an invitation from God, not a rebuke. An invitation to stop, to get honest, to look at the direction and not just the speed. Now I want to talk about something psychological because this is where so many people are trapped and they don't even know it. There is a concept in psychology called the displacement of purpose. It's the idea that human beings will fill the space of their lives with activity and productivity when they have not yet connected with their actual calling. We work hard not always towards something but sometimes away from something. Away from the discomfort of stillness. Away from the confrontation of asking, what do I actually want? Away from the terrifying possibility that what we have been working toward might not be what we were made for. Think about how many people are grinding furiously toward a goal that someone else set for them, a career their parents approved of, a version of success that looks impressive to people they went to school with. A lifestyle that matches what social media taught them to want. And they work toward it with genuine discipline and genuine sacrifice and genuine effort. And when they get closer to it, or sometimes when they actually reach it, there is this hollow feeling. This emptiness that success was supposed to fill but somehow didn't, because the goal was never truly theirs. It was borrowed, inherited, imposed, and no amount of effort in the direction of someone else's dream will ever produce the deep satisfaction that comes from walking in your own God-given purpose. Let me be real with you for a moment because I think this needs to be said directly. Some of you are not going nowhere, you are going somewhere, but it's the wrong somewhere. And it looks like progress because there is movement, and there is achievement, and other people seem impressed. But in the quiet moments, when the noise dies down, and you are just alone with your own thoughts, you know that something is missing. You know that this isn't quite it. You know that the version of your life you are building doesn't quite match the version that God put inside you when He made you. And here is what I want you to understand about that feeling. That restlessness is not a malfunction, it is a signal. It is your soul refusing to settle for a life that is below what you were created for. God did not wire you with dreams and gifts and a specific fingerprint of purpose just to watch you spend your entire life building something that has nothing to do with why He made you. Jeremiah 29 verse 11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." That verse is not a poster on a wall. It is a promise that implies God has a specific direction for your life. And if you are moving in a direction that He did not plan, then the promise does not automatically apply to the path you chose without Him. And this is where I want to talk about the spiritual dimension of this because it changes everything. Jesus said something in Matthew 6 that completely reframes the way we should think about work and effort and progress. He said, "Seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things will be added to you." All these things. The provision, the breakthrough, the open doors, the promotion, the life that actually works. He didn't say seek them harder. He didn't say work more hours. He said seek me first and watch what gets added. That word added is important. Things that are added come to you. You don't have to chase them down exhausted and desperate. They come. But most of us have reversed this completely. We seek the things first. The money, the status, the career, the recognition. And we fit God in when it is convenient, when we need help, when things fall apart. And then we wonder why it feels like we are carrying everything alone. Why the progress is so slow and so hard and so unrewarding. Because we built it in the wrong order. We are trying to add God to our plan instead of building our lives inside His plan. And there is an enormous difference between those two things. I want to tell you something about trees because this picture changed the way I see seasons of slow progress. When an oak tree is growing, the first several years of its life look unimpressive from the outside. A small trunk, a modest height, nothing that makes people stop and stare. But underground, invisible to everyone, the root system is growing wide and deep and strong. It is building the foundation that will eventually allow it to become one of the most powerful trees in the forest. Trees that grow too fast in poor soil fall in the first strong storm. But trees that grow slowly in deep soil survive hurricanes. They outlast everything around them. Some of you are in a root season, and it looks like nothing is happening because nothing is visible yet. But God is building something underground. He is developing your character because He knows that the promotion He has for you will require a person He has not finished making yet. He is closing the wrong doors because walking through them would take you further from the right ones. He is making you wait because what He is preparing for you is not ready, or because you are not ready, or sometimes both. And you keep interpreting the season as evidence that you are failing when it is actually evidence that He is faithful. Psalm 75 verse 6 and 7 says, "For promotion cometh either from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. But God is the judge, He putteth down one and setteth up another." Your promotion does not come from your hustle alone. It does not come from networking or positioning or working harder than the person next to you. It comes from God. And when He decides to elevate you, nothing can stop it. And when it is not yet the time, nothing you do will force it ahead of His schedule. But I also want to be honest with you because I think the other side needs to be said too. Sometimes you are not in a waiting season. Sometimes you are in a disobedience season. Sometimes you feel stuck not because God is developing you but because you have been avoiding the thing He told you to do 6 months ago. that business you feel called to start, that conversation you have been putting off, that step of faith that terrifies you, that gift you have been hiding because you are afraid of what people will think. And you are staying busy with secondary things so you never have to face the primary thing God has been asking of you. Jonah ran in the opposite direction from his calling and ended up stuck in the belly of a whale. He was moving, he was on a ship, he had somewhere to be, but he was going the wrong way, and God loved him too much to let that journey succeed. Sometimes the reason your effort is not producing is because God is not blessing the direction, not because He is against you, but because He is trying to redirect you. And the discomfort you feel, the stagnation, the sense that something isn't working, that might be the most loving thing God is doing in your life right now. He is making the wrong path uncomfortable so that you will finally turn toward the right one. So what do you actually do? Because I know you need more than insight. You need something practical to hold on to. The first thing is this: stop and get quiet. I know that sounds too simple, but I mean it seriously. Take one day, or even one morning, and remove the noise. No podcast, no social media, no planning, no productivity. Just you and God. And ask Him directly and honestly, am I walking in the direction you have for me? Is what I am building what you actually called me to build? Am I moving or am I just busy? And then wait, because He will answer. Not always immediately, not always loudly, but He will answer. And that answer might be the most valuable thing you receive this year. The second thing is to audit what you are actually working toward. Write it down. Be completely honest. Why are you working this hard? What are you building? Who told you this was the goal? Is this a dream God placed in you or a definition of success you inherited from your environment? Because clarity about the destination changes everything about the journey. You stop wasting energy on the wrong roads the moment you are clear about where you are actually trying to go. The third thing is to put God back at the center of your work, not as a religious decoration but as an actual foundation. Commit what you do to Him. Proverbs 16 verse 3 says, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do and He will establish your plans." That word establish means to make firm, to make stable, to make lasting. The work that God establishes is the work that produces real fruit. Not just income, but impact. Not just activity, but legacy. Not just results that look good for a season, but a life that means something when it's all said and done. The fourth thing is to stop comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's, chapter 20. Social media has created a generation of people who are chronically demoralized not by their actual circumstances, but by a curated highlight reel of other people's best moments. You are watching someone's harvest and comparing it to your planting season. You are watching someone's breakthrough and forgetting that you did not see the 10 years of silence that preceded it. Your timeline is yours. God did not give you someone else's assignment. He gave you yours, and it will unfold in His timing, in His way, according to a plan that was designed specifically for who He made you to be. And the fifth thing, the one I want to leave you with, is this: rest. Truly rest. Not because you have earned it, and not because you have finished, but because Jesus said, "Come to me all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." That invitation has your name on it. Today, in this season, in the middle of the unfinished, and the uncertain and the not yet, He is not waiting for you to figure it all out before He gives you peace. He is offering it to you right now in exchange for one thing: trust. Trust that He sees what you cannot see. Trust that the work He started in you He will complete. Trust that going nowhere in your own strength might actually be God's way of positioning you to go somewhere extraordinary in His. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not being punished. You are a person with a real calling, in a real season, serving a real God who is more aware of your situation than you are and more invested in your future than you can currently imagine. The work you put in matters. But more than the work is the direction. More than the effort is the alignment. And more than the hustle is the surrender. Because the life you are working so hard to build with your own hands will never compare to the life God builds through hands that have been placed fully in His. Keep going, but go with Him. Let that be the shift that changes everything. If this found you at the right moment, write this in the comments. God, align my effort with your purpose. And if this message is speaking to something real in your life, subscribe, because here we build people who are not just working hard but walking with God towards something that actually lasts.